Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe. Now I'm still introducing you to this video. So on this video, guys, I'll be showing you how you can tell SCL 1501 assignment 1 under semester 2 2022 questions along with the calculations. So let's go to question 1. Question 1.1 states that in your own words, explain what you understand by the concept. State in your own answer. You should refer to the notion of a social contract. So if you go to page 2 of your study guide, I do believe that you will find enough answers to answer question 1. Then question 2, it has a sentence. Read the section what parliament. So now we just go straight to the question 2.1. Read both the preamble and long title of this act and summarize what you consider to be the purpose of Legal Practice Act 28 of 2014. You may refer to Learning Unit 3 of your study guide. So you may refer to your Learning Unit 3. But here's the Act acknowledges that the profession is fragmented and divided with different laws applying in different parts of the Republic, that access to legal service and opportunities within the profession are restricted. The Act's stated purpose is to create a single regulatory body to ensure that the legal services are accessible to the public and entry into the profession in unrestricted, in order to bring a legal profession in line with the Constitution's transformative ideas. 2.2. What is a legal practitioner? Explain how this concept in relation to work done by attorneys and advocates. So a legal practitioner obviously is an advocate or attorney. So I said that a person whose profession is to give legal advice to clients, to prepare legal documents, and to represent clients in court of law or act for clients in other legal matters. So that is for 2.2. So 2.3 states that discuss the functions of the South African Legal Practice Council. So we just have to check what are the functions. So the functions which I normally know are: the South African Legal Practice Council's task is to facilitate the realization of the goal of a transformed and restructured legal profession that is accountable, efficient, and independent. Further, to ensure that fees charged by legal practitioners for legal services rendered are reasonable and promote access to legal service, thereby enhancing access to justice. It will also seek to promote and protect the public interest, regulate all legal practitioners and all candidate legal practitioners, and streamline the regulations of all lawyers, either attorneys or advocates, under a single independent body, the South African Legal Practice. The Council will further ensure accessible and sustainable training of law graduates aspiring to be admitted and enrolled as legal practitioners, promote access to the legal profession in pursuit of legal profession that broadly reflects the demographic of the Republic, and develop norms and standards to guide the conduct of legal practitioners, candidate legal practitioners, and the legal profession. Question 3. Question 3.1. Explain how the above extract relates to the notion of subjective as subjective being as discussed in learning unit 2 of the study guide. Yeah, so here's my answer. The concept subjective refers to the idea that learners are complete human beings with mind of their own, values and experiences. Their brains are thus not empty vessels. In other words, as subjects rather than objects. Learners may question information and relate that information to their lived experiences. Prince Marshall emphasized this point by stating that debating with people do not differentiate between themselves from animals and would be totally madness. In other words, there must be a difference between humans and animals, in that humans must question and reflect differently on life. Humans must have a mind to reason critically. That is for 3.1. So let's go to 3.2. 3.2 discuss the above extract with reference to Paulo Freire's views on education. So this is how I tangled E. I cannot pronounce this name correctly. Paulo Freire is highly opposed to education that promotes a mere absorption of knowledge, information, or facts without critical engagement thereof and application to relevant lived realities. He argues that this kind of education makes the student nothing more than a sponge or a consumer of facts. He links this education or learning approach to banking education because, as in a bank situation, facts are deposited in the student's brain with the review to withdraw them at a relevant time for use, such as during test examinations. He champions the kind of education practice that integrate theories or reflection and practice or action, which he refers to as praxis. There is no meaningful learning without reflection. Prince Marshall emphasizes that point by stating that debating with people who do not differentiate between themselves from animals would be totally madness. He argues that in the absence of reflection, human beings lose their personalhood and thus become more like objects. So we move to question 4. Question 4 has more points, or maybe just 5 marks. Yeah. So question 4. Critique the above extract with reference to various forms of irrelevance in logic. Okay, let's see. So for this one, go to page 79 and 80. Yeah, go to page 79 and 80 in your study guide. Then you're gonna see how you should answer this question. As you can see here above this red dot where it is moving, there is a guideline there which is going to help you to answer that question. Then let's move to question 5. Question 5 talks about the music duo what Tanzania what. So let's just get straight to the question. Question 5.1. Does this fact give rise to a civil or criminal case? Give reasons for your answer. So we have to determine whether the scenario is talking about a civil or a criminal case, and then we have to support. Yeah. So whenever money is being involved, like I do believe that it's gonna be a civil. Yeah. Whenever money is being involved, as long as it's not being involved by being stolen or what. But whenever money is being involved, when someone has to pay the other person, or the other person is suing the other person, or damages have to be paid, that is a civil. No maganjani, that is a civil. So we cannot just say civil and leave it there. We have to give reasons. Ne? So here are my reasons. A civil case is usually brought by a person called the plaintiff who feels that he or she has been wronged by other called defendant. If the plaintiff wins the case, the defendant will be ordered by the court to pay compensation. A civil case or delict is thus a wrong against an individual for which the wrongdoer must pay compensation to the wronged person. In this instance, DJ Lichachi and Lonza will be ordered to pay back the money they borrowed from Mr. Blackoto. Mr. Blackoto will thus be the plaintiff, whereas DJ Lichachi and Lonza will be the defendant in this matter. So that is the answer for 5.1. 5.2. Advise Blackwater on the appropriate and competent court that can entertain this case and give reason for your answer. Yeah? So we have to check the case which can hear this matter. So the competent court that Mr. Blackwater can approach to institute an action will be Small Claim Court. This court was introduced in 1985. They allow people to go to court without lawyers for civil claims of not more than 15,000. The amount borrowed by DJ Lichachi and Lonza is 14,999. As a result, it falls within jurisdiction of the Small Claim Court. Very few documents are needed. No lawyers are allowed. It is very cheap to go to Small Claim Court because of people can bring or defend the case themselves. So that is the answer for 5.2. Now we get into calculations, the hardest part, which most of you are scared of, the calculations. So yeah, calculations. So let me correctly. So we have to calculate the damages. So here's how you calculate the damages. Okay, this is how I do it now. I kind of like name all the names of the people that are involved. So we have Grid, we have Mabuza, and then the next thing that I do, I name all the percentages. The percentages, Mabuza is 15, and then I'm going to say Grid is 15, and then Mabuza is 43% of negligence. So you can write 14, I'm going to say 15% exactly with the symbol, or you can just write 15 over 100, still fine. It's going to give you 0.15, and then the other one is going to give you 0.43, still fine. Yeah? So I said times 281,000 and it gave me 42,150. So you guys may ask yourself, how did I get this 281,000? Eh? How did I get this one? It's more like we swap the amount. It's more like you paying the damages that your car did to my car, and then I have to pay the damages that my car did to your car. So it's not like you calculate for grade the damages that his car did to his car. So as you can see, for grade we have to calculate the GP cost on grade, which is the money that grade has to pay to Mabuza. So as you can see on the statement, the last two sentences say that it is uneconomical to repair the GP, but salvage value is 118,000. The pre-accident value of GP was 399,000. So you have to take the smaller number or value minus the bigger value, which is gonna be 399,000 minus by 118,000, then it's going to give you that 281,000. So you just say 15 over 100 times 281,000, then it's going to give you 42,150, which is the cost that Grade has to pay to Mabuza. And then as for Mabuza, Mabuza has to pay 356,000. As you can see, after Mabuza negligence, there's a sentence there stating that the damage of the Porsche is estimated at 356,000. So the damages of the Porsche Grade's car is 356,000. So we just multiply it with the percentage of the negligence that Mabuza did, and then Mabuza has to pay Grade 153,000 rand. Then we take all those totals, we subtract. The smaller number is going to subtract the bigger number, because if the bigger number subtract the smaller number, it's going to be somehow negative or what. Then we're gonna say 153,000 rand minus 42,150, then it is equal to 110,930. So please guys, do not forget to add those R to show that you are calculating money. I forgot to add those R to show that you guys are calculating money. Then which means that Mabuza has to pay Grade amount of 110,930. Reason being is because of, if Grade pays Grade this money, then which means that Grade has to pay, Mabuza has to pay Grade that money. So when we take out this money out of this money, we are left with this money. So the money that is left for Grade to Mabuza to pay Grade is this money. So which means that the person that is going to end up paying is Mabuza, because of Grade can ask Mabuza to deduct that 42,150 out of that 153,000 rand. Then this is the amount that Mabuza has to pay. So let's move to the difficult one, which is question 7. Question 7. Those who did mislead will enjoy this one. So for those who are doing mislead, they're gonna find it easy. For those who are doing pure maths, guys, it might be difficult for you because of we are not solving X here, just a simple basic maths. But it may be tricky a little bit, but I'm gonna show you guys how you can tackle this. So you have to draft a column like this one, or maybe you can just make 3 boxes and then you include these subtitles: item or service rendered, fees and cost. So before you attempt in the near future, please understand the difference between fees and cost. These things are gonna help you to understand that the service that which was rendered, does it fall under fees or does it fall under cost? So here you just list all the service that you are rendering or you have rendered at your law firm, as they say that you are an attorney. So let's start with the first one, letters received. But before we start with letters received, fees, according to me, I think that is the amount which you go straight to the law firm. And then the cost or expenses is the expenses that the the firm has to pay in order to complete a certain legal matter or what. like for example, going to post office, you have to buy an envelope and everything. That will be on the expenses of the law firm. Letters received. So how many letters did we receive? We received 11 letters. We received 11 letters. So we're gonna say 11 letters which we received, and then every letter written, no, not written, we're going to go for letters received is 87 rand 25 cents. So we're going to say 11 times 87 rand 25 cents, then it's going to give us 959 rand 75 cents. Then we move to letters written. Before we move to letters written, it falls under fees here. You're going to read it here, and then I like to show calculations here. And then the next one is letters written. So how many letters were written? 9. Then each letter written is 105 rand 50 cents. Then we're gonna say 9 rand, and 9 letters times 105 rand 50 cents. Then it gives us 949 rand 5 cents. Even if on your calculator does not write 50 cents, it writes 5 cents, it's still fine. Leave it that way. And then we have to go to stems. But before we go to stems, just to know that letters written falls under fees. Stamp. So each stamp is 7 rand 25 cents, and VAT is not included. So which means that after that, after calculating, we have to include VAT. So how many letters did we post? We posted 9 letters. So which means that 9 times 7 rand 25 cents is gonna give us 65 rand 25 cents. So we have to include VAT. So when you're including VAT, in order like not to do many steps, you just press plus 15% and then you include that percentage symbol, then it's going to give you the exact answer. The exact answer that is going to give you 75,0375. So here is how you round it off or convert it. 5 has power to change 7 into 8, and then 8 has power to change 3 into 4. Then that's why you will have 75 rand 4 cents. Then it's going to be 75,04, which is 75 rand 4 cents. And it's going to fall under the cost. Then we have affidavits. So we have to draft 4 affidavits. As we read the statement, is stated that first affidavit was 1.5 pages, the second one was 2.5 pages, and then the third and fourth was 4.5 pages. So the first one is 1.5. So as you have read that an affidavit costs how much? Let's check. Affidavit costs 88 rand 50 cents per page and any part. So it's going to be 1 and any part. Any part is considered as a full page, so it's going to be 2. That's why we have 2 times 88 rand 50 cents, which is going to be 177. And then we do have the second one, which is 2.5. 2 is going to be 2 plus that half, which is 3. Then it's going to be, the amount is going to be 265 rand 50 cents. Even if on your calculator it writes 5 cents, still fine, leave it that way. Then the third one is 4.5 a page, so you know that a half is considered as a full page, so it's going to be 5 times 88.50 cents. Then the amount is 442 rand 5. Even if it is 50, still fine. And then the fourth one is same as the third one. Then telephonic. So before I move to telephonic, know that it falls under fees. Telephonic. So telephonic, this person, the first one is to be 3 minutes. So let's check the cost. The cost is 119.50 cents for 10 minutes in any part. So which means that 10 goes into 23 two times and leave 3 behind, so 3 is that half or maybe quarter, so it's going to be considered as a full, so that's why we have 3 times 119 rand 50 cent, which is gonna be 358, 358 rand, 358 rand 50 cent. And then we have 11 and a half. How many times does 10 go into 11 minutes and a half? It goes once and leave 1.5, which is going to be considered as a full 10 minutes. Then it's going to be 2. Then the total amount is 239. And then 36 minutes, 10 goes into 36 minutes 4 times. In that it goes 3 times and leaves 6, so which means that 6 is going to be considered as a full, which makes 4, and then the total amount is going to be 478. Then we move to consultation, but before we move to consultation, it falls under fees. The total amount, you write it here under fees. Consultation 33 minutes is the first one. Consultation stayed at 977 per 30 minutes or any part. So for 30 minutes, so how many times does 30 go into 33? It goes once and leave 3 minutes behind. This 3 minutes is going to be considered as a full part. That's why we have 2 times 977, which is 1954. And then the second one is 2.5 hours. So we normally know that 30 minutes goes 2 times in an hour, so that is the first hour. Then the second hour, 30 goes 2 times, so we already have 4, and then we are left with half, and then half that is considered as a full time. Then it's going to be 5. That's why we have 5 times 977, which is 4,885. And it falls under fees. Then we go to advocate fees. So advocate fees is how much? Advocate fees is 2,125, and VAT is excluded. We have to add VAT. This fees is for expenses. These are the expenses. This is for the expenses. Then you write it on the expenses. You just write 2,125 plus 15, and then you add that percentage symbol. Then it's going to give you 2,443 rand 75 cent. It's going to give you that exact amount straight. And then we move to specialties, but remember that advocate fees fall under expenses. Specialties fees, which is the clinic in the city, then the cost is 3,247 rand 50 cent. VAT is excluded, then we have to add VAT. Then it falls under expenses, and here's the amount. We are gonna say 3,247 rand 50 cent plus 15% at that percentage sign, and then it's gonna give you exactly 3,734 rand 624 cents. So it will not make sense for those senses, so we have to round them off to the nearest, which means that 5 has too much power to change 2 into 3, so we are gonna have 3,734 rand 63. Yeah? That's how we round it off. So this is how it should look like. As you can see, this is how it should look like. Then let's move to the final part of this calculation for question 7, which is subtotals plus VAT plus exclusion and what. Yeah? So here's the last part. So you have to add everything under fees, and then you have to write the total exactly like this. So when you add all those things, they're gonna give you 11,151 rand 25 cents. And then you go to expenses, you add all the expenses, you add, then it's gonna give you 6,253 rand 42 cents. Then after that, below you write VAT with 15%, or you may write VAT, or you may write plus VAT. So which means that on the cost we have calculated VAT, but if you remember that on our fees we did not calculate our VAT, so we are gonna calculate the VAT for the total fee, which is this amount. Yeah? So we are gonna say that 11,151 rand 25 cents plus 15 at that percentage sign, then it's going to give you 12,823 rand, and then it's gonna give you those many cents, which is gonna be 9,375. It's going to give you 9,375 cents, which does not make sense. So this is how we convert it or round it off. 5 has power to change 7 into 8, and then 8 has power to change 3 into 4. But 4 does not have power to change 9, so which means that we're going to leave it on 94. So it's going to be 12,823 rand 94 cents. That is the amount, which means that we have added VAT on the fees. We have calculated VAT on the fees. Then we have added VAT. It's going to be this amount. Yeah? This is the VAT of this amount, so which means that this plus this is going to give you this. Yeah? Then we add the expenses on this 12,000, which is this amount. Add it here, we add it here, then we say 12,823 plus the expenses, which is 6,253 rand 42, then is going to give us 19,077 rand 36 cents. 19,077 rand 36 cents. So this is how you do the calculations, then you get your 10%. So this is how you do this assignment, guys. If you have any question, please do comment, then I will respond. And then please do not forget to subscribe, guys, just to show that you appreciate. Keep those thumbs up, like the video, share it with others, and good luck.